So service learning is a high impact practice. It's a pedagogical approach. So pedagogy means the art of teaching that has three critical components. One is that the service and the learning is connected to both what the student is learning in the classroom, but also what the student is learning in the community. And that can either be with a community partner or addressing a community issue. There's a second component, which is the reflection component. Oftentimes we reflect, but we don't necessarily take action. So you may get asked a question on, what did you think about that theory or that concept or that issue that we're talking about in class? And we like to provide students with real world experiences where they can also learn from experts in the community members, experts in the field, and or the community partners that are working with a particular target population and or an issue that's being addressed. The third component is that we'd like for this to take place over a period of time. So oftentimes you'll get an opportunity, for instance, to do a beach cleanup, right? You go for the weekend or for a day, and that's service. It's valuable service. It's very intentional, but then it's not connected to what is a course theory or a course concept. And then also, how do we know that that's actually a need that meets a priority in the community? So here's where the collaboration and the partnership are really important. And so we extend the service throughout the course of a semester. Oftentimes students will do it across the entire academic year. So we have a lot of service learning students that may be introduced to a community or a community partner as part of a class requirement. So they're getting credit for the learning that takes place, but then they'll return to that community context even after they've taken the class, either as a volunteer, an intern. Some have been hired on as staff. Others are actually directors right now running organizations where 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, they had their first service learning experience. So there's a reflection component, there's an academic component, and then there's that partnership piece where students over the course of 16 weeks, if it's a semester, are applying what they've learned, but they're also bringing back what they've learned into our classroom settings.
I definitely think service learning, it's a really high impact practice. It's very valuable, and I really think people, should consider doing it. I've actually taught for 3 years a service learning class that I designed. I actually went through a process, was very supportive with CCE, where they helped me to kind of integrate the service learning in all the way from my learning objectives, through how to actually just organize the service learning to, building it into assignments and assessments and reflections.
Service learning courses take a lot of different forms. Primarily, the idea is looking at how community service fits into the larger picture of the course. It's not an add-on, it's really fully integrated, so that whatever the students are learning in the class, through textbooks, through lectures, they're also learning and experiencing in the community. So they're looking at what they're learning in the class through the lens of their service. And conversely, they're looking at their service through the lens of what they're learning in the classroom.
So we believe service learning not only helps our students do that, but really fulfills our university vision around what we want an equitable society to be like. So if we're talking about social and economic mobility, we want to be able to remove those social and economic barriers from the students themselves. If we're talking about eliminating opportunity and equity gaps for students, well, the research shows that when students are more engaged, particularly in high impact practices like study abroad, alternative spring break, undergraduate research, internships, and service learning, then they're more likely to graduate. They're more likely to be successful when they graduate. They're more likely to have a sense of self-efficacy when they graduate. They're more likely to be contributing citizens in the best sense of the word to our society, and to be able to be change agents when they graduate.